Auto insurance can all seem the same until it comes time to use it. So don't get stuck paying more for less coverage. Switch to USAA Auto Insurance and you could start saving money in no time. Get a quote today. Restrictions apply.
USAA. Hilton brings you new ways to stay. With experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
Halliday presents, in the red corner, the undisputed, undefeated Weed Whacker Guy. Champion of hurling grass and pollen everywhere. And in the blue corner, the challenger, extra strength Halliday. Eye drops that work all day to prevent the release of histamines that cause itchy allergy eyes. And the winner by knockout is Halliday. Halliday, bring it on.
From the Fifth Quarter Studio in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to the Coaching Youth Hoops Podcast.
They're playing basketball. Basketball.
Here's our hosts, Steve Collins. And Bill Flitter.
Hello, coaches. Welcome to another episode of Coaching Youth Hoops. If you're looking at your screen right now, you'll recognize this face if you listen to the podcast on a regular basis, or see us on YouTube, I should say. We are back with Doc Scheppler from the infamous Pinewood girls basketball team. He's been there for how many years at Pinewood, Coach?
I started in 95, 96. So
okay, so
do the math on that. So
yeah, quite a few years. That's incredible that any coach stays around that long.
8 years, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. 29 years. I don't know.
That's amazing that you've survived that long. But if you didn't listen to the podcast before, stop, go back, and then catch up to this one and listen to this one. And again, pull over, get your notebook out, because I guarantee you will want to take notes on this one. We have a pretty exciting subject. We're talking about vision, decision, and execution. Doc will explain his framework on that. This is going to be a good one again. But let's before we get started, let's talk about Doc here. Over 700 career wins, 6-time Division V California State champion. Guy's been around, had success. Shooting coach for Jeremy Lin. What else? We got 13 sectional championships, 25 league championships, 2014 state coach of the year. Nickname is King of Hop, which maybe you can tell us. Why are you the King of Hop? I'll let you explain that this time. I explained it the last time, so you go ahead. I want to hear your version of this.
Well, the funny thing is, back in the mid-'80s, I noticed players at the pro level and even college level when I was watching Steve Kerr and Craig McMillan play at Arizona, or Craig Hodges, Dale Ellis, Danny Ainge, Jerry Seasting, Scott Wedman. They would hop on their catch and they would get it off quickly. And I adopted that in my own particular game. And I started teaching individual lessons without cones and etc. back in 1986. They had tennis lessons, golf lessons, racquetball lessons. I was going to teach basketball lessons. Now every Tom, Dick, and Harry is a basketball trainer now. So make sure you choose that wisely, everybody. Make it functional skills.
That's right.
Keep the 2 balls and the 5 dribble combo moves at home. So anyway, with that in mind, I started doing that, and I became so much better because I had a quicker release. And I would teach that to my players at my high school teams, taught it to my daughter, and people looked at her like she was some kind of, what is she doing? It's like she's catching and shooting, catch and shoot, catch and shoot. One of my players says, "Are you saying cashew?" No, catch and shoot, catch and shoot. And she had a very quick release, resulted in her hitting 395 career threes back from 95 to 98. And this is how my team has played. And they're all known as hop shooters. Off a catch, they're all hop shooters. So it ran into quite a bit of flack from the traditional 1-2 people. And I still battle all the time with, when you dip the ball, it's going to be slower. I even had a Facebook convo this morning about Clay didn't dip on his corner 3 at the end of the third quarter yesterday, but he caught it here and he brought it to his chest. That's a dip. He didn't catch it at his chest and bring it to his waist. So we actually dipped the ball, but you can't convince people that video proof doesn't make it seem like that. So I've been a proponent of teaching a catch and shoot off a hop. So that's what
there we go, the king of hop
moniker. There's Michael Jackson was the king of hop. I am the king of hop.
There we go. And it's funny because we talked or after a previous conversation on the podcast, I went and I had training sessions with 3 or 4 players, and I've been teaching the hop shot for 5 years, I think about. And but one of the things that you had mentioned to me was footwork, and I didn't put enough emphasis on the footwork, although we included it, but it wasn't enough. But I asked them, I did your boing boing thing, and I said, okay, what does that sound like? Boing boing boing, right? And they said, Tigger, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, Tigger. I'm like, oh, that's great. Like, add a little Tigger in your toes, right? So we that's what we say now. We got a little Tigger in our toes.
One of my friends, Craig Campbell, who teaches his players at Clovis West hopping on their catch and shoot, calls your feet fire. Your feet are on charcoal. Yeah. You got to get off the ground quick, and that's a key proponent of having a quick release. So is jumping quickly instead of bending your knees after your feet land. So
that's funny, anyway. Yeah, because we did all of that. I mean, we went through. I think we spent about 10 minutes, no ball, working on the shot, just footwork, just all footwork. So thank you for that. And I even texted you afterwards and said they didn't want to leave. We were there for almost 2 hours, and like, Coach, it's over already. And I'm like, yeah, sorry, I gotta.
That's when you have. I mean, that relates to our previous podcast. You have to hook them on the game. I bet you they went and practiced on their own. So you gave them.
See. We'll see on Thursday.
That's when I pull the Liam Neeson line from Taken. If you don't practice, I'll look for you, I'll find you, and I will kill you. So, no, they have their Christmas present. That's the thing, is that it's what do you do with a toy that you get for Christmas? You go out and play with it. Well, your toy that you're giving them, Bill, is the learning to shot. And once you learn to shoot and you see the ball go in, it's like that snowball going down the mountain. And that's our job as coaches, is to get that fire lit.
Yeah, we were playing loud music. I was excited. I was hopping around myself. So it was quite the scene. You would have been proud, Coach. Yeah, all right, today let's dive into the subject matter today, because I'm really curious on how you break the game down. I think this is really important. This goes to your philosophy of a quick shot, right? Again, we're talking about vision, decision, and execution. Explain what that means.
Well, anything involved with a open skill sport, a closed skill sport, I think we mentioned it before, is like archery, bowling, things that the parameters are all here. You just gymnastics, dancing, ice skating, they're all just, okay, I'm just going to do that. But basketball, soccer, water polo, hockey, lacrosse, all those are open skill sports where they're constantly changing variables. And you have to have your eyes being a very active part of the situation, and training your eyes to do the right thing at the right time is what I call sight skills. You have ball skills, you have foot skills, you put them together, and then you have to create situations where they're using their sight skills to make the right decision at the right time. So that's why when you design a practice, there should be lots of one-on-one where they're having vision on how the defensive player is playing them in 3 different types of situation of which you have the ball. One would be right off a catch, what I call a catch and shoot, or triple threat, to where you're pivoting and creating a situation there, which I don't teach as much anymore. And then they're working off a live dribble. You can be in triple threat in a live dribble because you're still able to shoot, drive, or pass off a dribble. You're still able to shoot, drive, or pass off a catch. So that's where triple threat is you can still be in triple threat with a lateral space dribble where you're reading the defender while you're moving laterally to try and set them up for a drive or a shot. So all of our practices involve the progression of, well, we're going to work first. And I discovered this back when I played. I can give you an example of this. I was making $1.65 opening a gym for the rec department in the summer. And I was so envious the year before because I was out sweating in the middle of the summer coaching 11, 12-year-old boys in baseball, and I loved it. But there was a guy that opened the gym from 1 to 4 at Burlingame High School. The rec opened it for him. And I go I want that because, and I was a senior at the time, and I opened the gym at 1. And what happened when I opened at 1? I'm the only guy there. So I'm shooting. Bill would show up and we would play horse or something. And then, well, you want to play one-on-one? And we play one-on-one. Then all of a sudden, Don and John show up. And, well, what do you do when you got 4 guys? Well, you play 2-on-2. And then sure enough, a couple minutes later, more people show up. Oh, what are we going to play? 4-on-4? We got enough for full court. So look at the progression in terms of learning.
Yeah.
I have to first learn to attack my primary defender. And then when play 2-on-2, I got to attack you. Then I got to read and respond to that second defender. Do I pass or do I keep going? And then 3-on-3, well, I react to the primary defender. They're not there. I go by. Oh, no. I pass and screen away. I pass and give and go cut. I space the floor on people's penetration. And then you play 4s. You have to work on your spacing. And then 5s full court. You work on your dribble move. So look at the progression that I experienced for 6-7 weeks as a basketball player that was going to play in junior college. Is I got so much better because I was playing 5 days a week of 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s.
Mm-hmm.
And to develop that vision, decision, execution template, you've got to first play one-on-one. You have to, the most important decision you want your players to develop is right when they catch the ball. They're going to shoot it or drive it. The goal of every closeout in basketball is to be there on the catch. Why? Because there's no advantage. Several of the guys and gals that I talked about in the previous podcast, whether it be Alex Sarama or Mark Cassio, Doug Novak, Brent Timpton, Alex Sarama, Ross McMains, they all have this in outline form, and they're on the internet. All right, that's my George Bush, the internet, to where Brian McCormick as well, to where they have their principles and how they play offense in written outline formed. And it was this is like candy for me. This is unbelievable. And I just absolutely loved looking at that. So the template of playing basketball is that you have to first read that defender on the closeout. Mm-hmm. I plan to shoot, I react to attack. And that's my moniker, where I'm thinking I'm going to shoot the ball and my reaction is to drive. So picture this: a baseball player plans to hit every pitch and they react not to swing because it's a ball high or low. But when there's no reaction not to swing, they continue on with what they planned and they hit the ball. Well, being an offensive player, you have the same mentality. I'm going to be a weapon when I catch the ball. I'm going to shoot it, I'm going to drive it, or I'm going to move the ball. The ball is always going to be shot, driven, or passed. And that's vision on that I'm making a vision. I'm making a decision to shoot or drive, but I make that decision more.
That's your money saying it's time for a McDonald's run. Because with new McValue at McDonald's, you get more than you expect. Like buy a 6-piece McNuggets and add a McChicken for just $1. Your money says let's go. Get more than you expect with new McValue. Prices and participation may vary. Valid for item of equal or lesser value.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
What's there? Not easier. You make it easier by having a set plan and then reacting to do it. So execution means the fact that I'm going to execute the right way to catch and drive, the right way to catch and shoot. And this is when it's funny, when I taught a catch and drive, I used to teach it with your feet parallel. An L, I jump stop, I cross over. I jump stop, I cross over. But then I figured, I don't know how long ago it was, I just put my head together and said, well, no, on a first step from triple threat, my feet are at a 45-degree angle, and I take a rocker step by them. And when I make a dribble hesitation move, my feet are at this 45-degree angle. So I called this the split. In other words, when I catch the ball, instead of landing to shoot, I split my feet. So the ball in the air, feet in the air, as I land, when I make that decision, I plan to shoot, I react to drive. I plan to shoot, I react to split. And I train that in them over and over again, where I just have them catch the ball, they split. I've got it to the point where I've really, really learned how important core strength is to improve somebody's first step. The pushing angle is such to where their feet placement have to be right. If you remember Kevin Durant, when his feet hit the ground, when he tore his Achilles tendon, this puts a lot of pressure. So when your feet are driving to your right, your feet are actually parallel to each other, but they're facing at 10 o'clock so they're facing like this. Why? Because you get more glute work into that maximum push, because it's just not your calf and your Achilles tendon. You're using your whole body. As one of my physical therapist friends said, well, now you want to really be able to have a strong core to make that push come down the chain. And it's like, wow, this is really good. So that's how we develop that. So it's crazy. It's pretty advanced. It's advanced stuff. And I can see by the look on your face, you're going like, what the hell are you? Well,
yeah, I have a lot of questions about that.
You plan to shoot, react to split. Yeah. So when people talk about this is my go-to imitation of know-it-all coaches that don't know anything. I call them know-nothing know-it-alls. You're going to catch and rip through. It's like, yeah, but you're going to catch and go by. Oh no, the ball's getting when you're catching and driving, you're going to quickly bring the ball there and your shoulder comes in front. They're not going to get the ball. Trust me on that. So many times guys will catch and spend times whipping through and they haven't driven yet. So we want our players to be able to attack that area right away. So instead of a 1-2 and then attacking that spot, we're going to split. So we're sprinting right when our feet hit the ground. So we go into such detail of first step speed footwork. And we talked about that in terms of player development, in terms of first step speed and how to do it. Well, we master it from a jump stop. It's basically a mini stop cut, jump cut in football, same thing. And we train them to make the right decision, to be able to do the right thing at the right time. And I always say, if you shoot the ball and it's the wrong decision, what happened? What happened? I'm asking you, what happened? I shot the ball and I'm going to say, hey, Bill, you made the wrong choice there, dude. What happened? They blocked your shot, right? Yeah. They blocked your shot. What should you have done?
Drive.
Should have drove, all right? Yeah. Now, if I try a drive and I don't get by you, what should I have done?
Should have passed.
I should have shot.
Oh, shot.
Yeah.
I guess,
yeah, because if there's enough, and this is where people make
enough space. You're talking about. Yeah, I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
Right.
If I'm a dumb coach and I've got Bill Flitter, the best shooter in America, right? I got you on my team, and you've missed your first 2 shots. Bill, you know what? I don't want you to shoot anymore. I want you to drive. Why don't you drive now? It's like, no. Because you want to treat their vision decision to be right. You want to say, hey, Bill, those shots look really good. Next one's going in. I know it. It looks good. Keep shooting. Well, what would that do to you? You're going to go like, well, shit, the coach believes in me. Let's go.
Right. Boost my confidence.
Go rather than you don't want to shoot anymore because you're not on today. The best way to get on after you're off is to keep shooting. So the quacks that tell people that, you should drive more, they need to get to the basket. They're cranking, jacking, chucking threes up. As long as they're catch and shoot threes, it's going to even out. And if you don't hit them, that's all right. It's not like we're going to feed the ball into a 5'9" post girl against a 6'2" girl and get scores. So
I want to step back though, because I think there's just a lot to unpack in this. So going back to how let's just start how you land, because I think that's really important. So from what I understand from what you had said is, okay, I'm passing you the ball. Okay. Now I need to have the vision because I need to see where the defense is. So I need to know how I'm going to land, if I'm going to shoot or drive. But are you saying I'm landing the same way, whether I'm shooting or driving? No, that's not what you're saying. So there are two different ways to, okay, got it. That's what I thought, because what I was confused about when you were talking about the feet apart. So if I know I'm driving, I land with my feet apart so I can do a rocker step and go. Is that
I'm going to show you a video of a go and catch right here. Now this is Jalen. Can you see that?
Yeah. I'll let it play one more time. It paused right now, so play one more time. We'll make sure we can see this. So Coach is showing a video. Oh, we caught it late. It went fast forward. Sorry. I could add it to the show notes too. Or is it a personal video, or is it online?
I could send it to you.
Yeah. Okay. Yep, I saw that. Yeah, his feet were apart.
So what he did with his feet is I call that a go and catch. So with my team, we develop 6 or 7 different moves off a catch where you don't catch and pivot, you catch and drive. That was a go and catch. He's going before he catches the ball. He realizes that he's got an open area right away. And then we have a double fake to where we give a little shimmy, boom, boom, and then we go. And then we have a normal catch and drive. So there's 3 different tempos to throw a defender off. And then we have a sprint and catch to where I'm running to the ball and it's like a dribble handoff or a kickback to where they're going. Then we have a shot fake drive. And then we have a catch drive fake go opposite to where my drive would go. So we develop these moves through time. And when you plan to shoot, all your training is this.
Hey, everybody. Hope you're enjoying the podcast. I just want to jump in here real quick and remind you to go over and check out coachingyouthhoops.com. It is the one-stop shop for youth basketball coaches. It's got practice plans. It's got a roadmap. It's got everything you need in there to become a better youth basketball coach. Those practice plans alone are worth it. Prices are going to be going up. So if you're thinking of joining, I would jump in right now, coachingyouthhoops.com. And let's head back to the podcast.
You do that over and over again. And what we've gone to the intricate detail of having somebody do it with bands on to where you have bands around your thighs, bands around your ankles. So you train that nice pull. The key to this is that both feet have to land at the same time. You don't want to hop 1, 2. You don't want to go forward. You just want to split your feet. And where I learned that, and I think I said this to you in the previous one, is from playing tennis. I didn't play basketball for a year. And I don't know if I told you this story or not. So did I tell you?
No, not the tennis.
Well, when I was 20, I retired from basketball and I thought I was going to be a tennis player. So all I did was play tennis. Basketball sucks. It's terrible. I hate basketball, but then I couldn't play on a rainy day, and the gym was open at the high school by the rec department on a Saturday. And I went in there and I played basketball. I couldn't believe my first step speed was so much better. I couldn't shoot a lick. Because my right forearm turned into Popeye the Sailor Man from playing so much tennis that I couldn't snap my wrist because my forearm were so tight that I had no more wrist flexion anymore because gripping that racket and doing that, my forearm was so developed. But my first step speed was so good. Turning somebody was like unbelievable. Well, why is that? Because I have to react to the ball and be in a dead sprint right when the ball hits the strings. And I have to, and what do they call in tennis? They call it a split stop. So a screen, a serve and volley, or you watch any great tennis player, when the ball hits the strings, what do they do with their feet? They react with their feet wide and they split and boom, boom. So I attach that transfer to a catch and drive and putting their feet at an angle where they have maximum amount of muscular force and maximum amount of push angle in the direction I want to go. So I don't mean to get in all this detail. But
no, this is good detail, and it's
part of the reason why our team is good is because this is what I've acquired, and this is why it's important for coaches to listen to podcasts to develop their improvement. If we ask our players to get better, well, why in the hell aren't you getting better?
That's right.
So it's a funny story. When I worked with Jeremy Lin in 2011, and his normal guy was not there, he's going to law school. So I was working on some ball handling things and stuff like that, his shot, obviously. Then I was teaching him a catch and drive. And I was talking about pushing angles back in 2011. And he and his brother looked at me and were like, what's up with the pushing angles? It's like, no, this is how you drive. And he would catch and rip through, and he would get to that drive later. But when he caught and drove, it was like right away you're and you watch players now, this is how they do it. So when his coach with the Knicks after Linsanity came and visited, he had never heard of this. And I was training Jeremy with a verbal command, since I didn't close out on him. As the ball's in flight to him, I'm telling him to shoot or drive with the plan to shoot, react to split without a defender. And that's how you can train somebody to make a decision that's based on a verbal cue, which is harder to be able to, take in than it is a visual cue.
So is the ball in the air at this point? Because I think this is really.
He's now with the Warriors. Kenny is now with the Warriors. He looked at me like I'm some kind of nut, but he says, I love this. I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this. And when he was back with the Knicks and back with the Hawks, he says, Doc, this stuff really works. I was just telling him to shoot or drive off the catch. Yeah, plan to shoot, react to drive. You're a weapon on the catch. And you can train somebody to be able to make that first vision, decision, and executing it the right way. And that starts with being a weapon on the catch.
Well, let's a couple questions in there. One is then simple drill to teach it. Is the ball in flight when you're saying drive or shoot?
Ball's in flight.
Ball's in flight. Okay, that's number one. And then two is, what do you think? So again, a lot of grade school coaches listening to the podcast. I think this is good stuff that they can teach. So
every day, remember that dribble?
Yeah.
Remember, you have a line of three. It's Bill, Doc, and Don.
Mm-hmm.
Doc dribbles out, 2 dribbles, comes to a jump stop, pivots, passes to Bill. Bill catches it, 2 dribbles, pivots, passes back to Don, and so on and so forth. Yeah. Everybody's done that drill, which is a good drill just in itself. Well, we've attached a split and drive with that. So when I pass to Bill, he splits, drives, jump stops, passes to Don. Don splits. And then we work on our different moves. So you can train that. You can add that passer to be the closeout person. So they read that closeout in the right way. I've learned from, what was his name? Mike, about guided practice, guided to where you're going to drive every single time. So you give them the read that you want them to develop. Yeah. And then you make it variable to where they got to shoot it or they got to drive it. So that's why every day when we work on our shooting drills, there's always a component of a decision-making to shoot the ball. So as a grade school coach, to get somebody to really learn, you put an X taped on the floor, 4 feet long. And I call it the X drill. So if you manipulate your feet to be on that X, like there is on the dice or an X, their feet are going to be right on that masking tape, and they'll feel the pushing angle they want to be on their split and sprint. And at our gym here at Pinewood, they won't let us put the tape on the ground anymore because it's marking up the floor. But that's something you can do at your gym. It's just put a big 4 foot X in length and have their feet hit wide. And one sound, hit wide, feet facing 10 o'clock if they're going to their right, 2 o'clock if they're facing left. Teach them to be explosive right on the get-go as far as a start. And then we do lots of first step speed drills too to supplement that. But that's a very easy drill for, and every day they should do that. Catch and drive, catch and drive, catch and drive. And sooner or later, when you add a defensive player and you make it live, hopefully in that time when they're playing in a game, they'll make the vision decision to do the right thing at the right time. They won't be tentative or catch the ball, but I have a couple players on my team that still will catch. They'll catch, take a look at the defense. Oh, I'm open. Tap their foot down and shoot the ball instead of reading. I can see Bill in my peripheral vision. And when I catch the ball, I kind of have a sense of what I'm going to do. I'm planning to shoot it. It's gone. If they shoot the ball and it's blocked, that's all right. I don't care. You get better when you make your decision. Now, there's a difference between Doc Scheppler closing out on Bill and LeBron James in terms of speed, in terms of length. But I learned something from other sports is this is why this is going to get intricate for you. So I'm sorry to bore the grade school coaches, but the other coaches on here will go like, God, this guy's really thought about this. So if I have a 0.6 catch and shoot, right? That video I sent you did I send you the video of Patrick McCaw before and after?
Yeah. It was beautiful.
Okay, so there's a 3/10 difference between example 1, example 2, 3/10 of a difference in his shot release. One was 0.99, the other was 0.63.
My cat Freddie loves to be brushed and cuddled. But stirring up his cat allergens meant sneezing and itchy eyes. Then I found Purina One Live Clear. It's cat food that reduced the major allergen and my suffering in as little as 21 days. Now, we feel closer than ever. If you have issues with cat allergens, you really need to try Purina One Live Clear.
Try new Purina One Live Clear today. Purina One, a difference from day one.
This episode is brought to you by Cadillac. When you have 4 new tires, every drive feels fresh. Right now, buy 3 select tires and get 1 for just $1 during the Cadillac Certified Service Fresh Start Tire event. Visit Cadillac.com/service offers or see dealer for full details. At participating U.S. GM dealers only. Highest or equal value tire will be $1. Offer ends 5/31/2025. Not available with other offers.
That 0.3 means distance that a defensive player can close out. And Mike Caruco would say when they measure somebody's speed from first to second when they're stealing, he measures the pitcher's release to home plate and the catcher's release from the catcher's box to second base. And they time that to where that boom, boom, that adds to 3.1. Well, if that runner can get to second in 2.8, every 3 feet is a 1/10 of a second. So 1/10 of a second, 3 feet, 0.3, that's 9 feet difference that Patrick McCaw will now be able to get a catch and shoot over a closeout. So in other words, we made him, with that quick release, a more active player. So if I know Bill has a quick catch and shoot, I got to be there on the catch. If I'm not there on the catch, it's gone. If I'm moving there on the catch, Bill is gone by me. If I'm there on the catch, which I should be, stationary, ready to guard you, then I'm on equal terms. I'm in neutral. I can defend people in triple threat.
Yeah.
You understand that?
Yeah.
So I noticed this when this is 15, 20 years ago, that we would play those 3 different types of one-on-one, close out, off dribble, and off a catch, and triple threat off a dribble and off a catch, that the closeout offensive player would win every time. And it was like, oh, well, maybe I ought to just play basketball to where we create closeouts for our team. So every set, action, trigger that we ran, let's just go over a high pick and roll.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm using that screen well. You roll. Somebody from the offside's got to tag the roller. I read that. I bring the ball above my head. Whoop. I pass to the person that's lifting up. What do they got as a result of them tagging that roller? They have a long closeout. What are they doing? They're going to catch and shoot. They're going to catch and drive, or they're going to move the ball. So when you talk about our offensive philosophy, it's all about creating advantages with our actions. And if the reason that our team is really good is that every girl has a quick catch and shoot, they all can shoot the ball. Hopefully I'll train them to make that good first touch decision. And then when we get in that situation, I talk about a first dribble decision. So I'm reacting to, with my eyes forward, I'm reacting to, where in the hell is the help coming from? No help? I'm going to keep going.
Yep.
So all the coaches that want their players, especially the youth players, you got to get to the rim in one dribble. They're 4'8". They're not going to get to the rim in one dribble. They're too small. So don't have them get to the rim in one dribble. So I say you have to be full speed right when you start your drive. First dribble decision, you have to be under control. Yep. You can't be accumulating your speed. I call that the decision zone. Where am I going? And then if there's no help, I get to the finish zone. What finish am I going to use in this situation? So prescribing finishes that we've already repped out without a defensive player, now we got to work on advantage basketball to where now I'm working on finishes against that particular defender that's my primary defender. And then we work on finishes against a secondary defender, whether it be a floater, whether it be a Euro step, which people use all the time. There'll be the finish that they develop in players. I'll see people using a Euro step when it's not the right time to use the Euro step, which makes me crazy. But it might be a pro hop. It might be something to where I attack that defender and do a spin finish against that secondary defender. So first dribble decision is really, really important. Where am I going with the ball? And executing means giving the players the tools to be able to make the right pass. So we work extensively on maybe 15 to 20 passes that you see people make. But most of the time when coaches work on passing, chest pass, two-hand chest pass, out, bounce pass on the ground, overhead pass. They don't work on a lateral pass. They don't work on a baseball bounce pass. They don't work on an upcourt pitch ahead pass. They don't work on a triple threat pass where I hook it around. I don't work on a post feed pass. I don't work on a pass off my dribble overhead pass. There's a ton of them that when we run our actions, we want them to make a vision, decision, execution to make the right executed pass. Because when we play, like I talked about in the other podcasts, playing keep away is a great game for kids to play, even at the high school level. 4-on-4, no dribble. 5-on-5, no dribble. To where they work on passing angles and delivery and pass, fake pass, and all those different things. But if they're not taught to make the right pass in a fundamental standpoint, then they're not going to be able to have the ability. They saw, they decided, but they threw the wrong pass. It was terrible. It wasn't the right pass. So it's our job as coaches is to equip all of our players with everything they need to execute whatever system you want to play in. So that requires, a structured practice plan that gets those things. And what we talked about the previous podcast is layering it to the point where you're progressing in a manner that you want them to progress.
Well, and again, this comes back to, a lot of the discussion that we had, at least about the, early decision is footwork. How do I land it? And, obviously I have the vision of, okay, am I going to land on 2 on the catch, or am I going to land in the split step because I'm going to drive? So, and then it's all footwork and practicing that footwork and getting stronger. This is amazing, Coach. You have broken the game down to a level. No wonder why you guys win. I mean, this is the kind of level. Now, we don't expect the youth coaches to get to this level yet, but like you said, it's the layering effect. So
where does it start? It starts with giving them the footwork. That's what you can start with second and third graders or first graders. Teach them how to stop. Teach them how to pivot. Teach them how to handle the ball. Teach them how to have fun. Hook them on the game. So when they, they're not going to be able to do all these intricate things that people want, but they can still know what their feet are doing. Their feet are so important. We go over it with my high school team every day in practice. They work on different foot skills when they do their dynamic warm up. And when they don't do it right, Mount St. Scheppler explodes. Hot lava. You're going to do it right. You're going to do it right. Yeah. And that's what kids learn 3rd, 4th grade. If you do it right, you'll be more successful. And when the kids are successful, the light bulb will go on and go like, hey, if you do it right. Yeah. Confidence grows from being good at something.
That's right. Yep.
I sucked at skiing. I never skied again because I sucked at it. I didn't have the discipline to stay through it. What I've learned through my life in the last 3 or 4 years is my core strength sucked. My glute strength sucked. I was just a trained basketball player that didn't work on those aspects to make myself better in those regards. So I had these muscles that were overdeveloped and muscles that were underdeveloped. That's why I couldn't ski or water ski or do any balance work because I was terrible at it. At 69, I now realize why I sucked, but it's too late. It's too late. So, that's the thing where the youth coaches really have to do a great job of knowing they have a little embryo and want to hook them on the game, that when they get better at it, when they get more skilled at it, they'll love it, and they'll stay with it and they want to get better. I always say I said this to you earlier when we talked before, it's like you want to give your kids the present of skills. Yeah. And what they want to do with that Christmas present after that is they feel like they have a new toy. What are they going to do with it? They're going to go play with it. So they're going to play with that basketball. They know how to come to a balanced stop. They know how to dribble the ball. They know the correct form in shooting a ball. If they know the correct form in shooting a ball and rep it out, and they're an introverted kid that's going to spend time in their driveway shooting, what's going to happen? They're going to get better. And when they get better, they get confidence and they love it even more. That's our job, is to affect that.
Wow. Doc, this has been, I could go, we could talk, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to have you back on if you don't mind. And we're going to continue these conversations because one, you got a wealth of knowledge that I know we're going to get some positive comments on, and I want to share those with you. You have a lot to share on the game and, your 40 plus years of coaching and the success that you had. So love to continue the conversation.
I always like to say this, Bill, I'm not old school. I'm the right school.
I love that confidence.
It ain't old school. It's the right school.
It's the right school. There you go. All right, Coach. We're going to leave on that because that's awesome. Thank you again for this education in basketball. I've learned a ton. I know my listeners are going to learn a ton. And I can't wait to come visit you and watch a practice. So we'll talk soon, Coach. Thank you.
Good. Thank you, my friend.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.